put juicy bites out there.
Yes, Trinidad, your favorite Hardware Island Express. We now get some new stocks here. Fresh off the truck. Look at it. PVC pipe galore. Come down and check us, man. Lowest prices in Trinidad. We located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shagonas.
Broke life never feel right.
Okay, my beautiful friends of Trinidad and Tobago, CARICOM International. Welcome to our program Hardfacts. Those of you who are locked on, those of you who have been anticipating our program, we ask you all, my friends, as we begin our day, as we begin our program here, we ask you all to share this video. Let people know what is going on, because Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time, my friends, it needs a lot of help. It needs prayers, it needs, your intervention. It needs God intervention in our daily routine. My friends, those of you who are available at this point in time, maybe you are having your lunch, maybe you are taking your sabbatical, maybe your midday rest. And again, my friends, we want to welcome you to our program, Hardfacts, that is aired on Sentinel Media Broadcasting. We are live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, identifying the anomalies, the atrocities that is being perpetrated upon the hardworking citizens of our country. We want to let you all know that you have a voice. The ones who are voiceless, don't be dismayed. You have a voice on this program, Hardfacts. Yesterday we had the technician came in and we got our lines working. So you can call us at 3722-129 and let us know what is taking place in your neck of the woods. My friends, again, a lot of people have been talking about Stuart Young being the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And you have been hearing a lot of lamentation, and people are really and truly, some are for and some are against. And today in our program, we are going to dissect, because again, my friends, if we continue allowing ourselves to be seduced by the political foray, and you and I are not being represented, Trinidad and Tobago, what is going to happen? Those of you who are in government, maybe you are going to go back in government. Those of you who are in opposition, you are going to go back in opposition, simply because, my friends, you are not being responsibly represented. And that's the reason why, this program, Hardfacts, really and truly have been, reaching places. We are here every week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, trying our utmost best to see how Trinidad and Tobago could come back in track. How we could really and truly come back in a position whereby, number one, the citizen can feel safe. Number two, the economy of our country, at least people can go to the groceries and people can, entertain their children at home and so forth. So again, my friends, we want to welcome you to our program. Those of you having your lunch, please share with us what you think. Maybe something has occurred with you from last week to this week, and you would like to voice your opinion, you would like to identify it. We are here to champion your cause on this program, Hard Facts. Welcome, Prem.
So thank you very much, our Reverend Imam Rashid Karim. My friends, Happy New Year. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Pleasant midweek good morning. Good afternoon, to all our viewers, all of our citizens in this country, our Caribbean neighbors, and to the wider world at large. We welcome you on this program, Sentinel Media Broadcasting. This is a program, Hard Facts, that you are viewing. And as the Imam said, we are here as a voice. We are here as a window, as a doorway to the downtrodden, to the meek, to the humble, to the simple individuals who are suffering, who wish to say something. But Imam, there is no other avenue for them to voice.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Hence the birth of this program called Hard Facts. And today being our first program, I believe it is for the new year, I would like to say thank you to our Imam for really launching this station. My friends, it costs a lot of money to run this station on a daily basis, but somehow or the other, with this downturn in the economy, we are surviving, tiptoeing water just above our nose. Likewise, the rest of the economy. No, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, 644 murders recorded, Imam.
Yeah.
There are those that were not recorded, that were not classified as homicide. 644 in 2024. The highest in 9 years of PNM government rule. The highest under Stuart Young as Minister of National Security, now aspiring to become Prime Minister. The highest under Fitzgerald Hines, failed Minister of National Security, and many others that passed within the 9 years. They have all failed. But this year, we have failed the most. But failure is failure.
Failure, yeah.
Failure is failure.
You cannot cloak failure.
You cannot go for. There is no less failure or more failure.
Correct.
Your past. Okay? Now, my friends, our young people are struggling. They are like this, scraping to see wherever they can get an end to get a job. In this country, after 9 years of government rule, our graduates and undergraduates, I have been saying this over and over in the program, they don't know where to turn to. Some of them, Imam, are joining their grandparents in the backyard, making a backyard garden, and putting up a little table beside the road to sell. And this PNM government last year said you could be taxed for that.
Yeah.
That is illegal also. Okay? Now, the potholes continue to become bigger and bigger and bigger in the nation roads. Nothing has been done. Where 3.6 billion TT dollars is still accounted for and nobody is facing the courts to answer charges. 74 million TT dollars from TT Post. $850 million missing from PTSC. Nobody. Do we have an opposition, Imam? Do we have an opposition to question the government on this? And if the opposition have facts that this money is missing, why can't charges be laid in the courts against these people? Or is it that the opposition is in cohort with these people? We're going again. Road rage continue, my friends. Home invasions continue. Murders, kidnappings continue in this country. Just the other day, I had to take my neighbor to the Mount Hope Hospital, General Hospital here, and it was like, oh yes, in this new year everybody was lying on, decent people cannot afford private health care, and they were sitting on chairs, lying on the corridors, like they have no value again in this country.
Yeah.
It's a sad situation, and my friends, the list goes on and on. The crime rate, we trust and hope that this year our Commissioner of Police, Mrs. Ola, stop reading, nighttime stories for people. You have a job to perform, madam. Get up and start to do your job. Let us get this crime situation under control. Innocent people are being murdered in this country.
Exactly. So thank you very much, Prem. Those of you who are locked on, My co-host, Mr. Premchand Balev, has outlined some of the points that we are going to discuss here on our program, Hard Facts. Okay? So again, those of you who are locked on, share this video and allow others to benefit. The number 372-2129, you can call us. You can call us and let us know. Some of you are thinking that here what? Why are we concerned? In other words, why are we concerned with what PNM is doing? We have to have concern what the United National Congress is doing. A lot of people are saying, especially activists who coming out there and saying that, we don't want Stuart Young. And hey, listen carefully, Trinidad and Tobago. There are two parties in this country. And there are two sets of voters. Right? Two sets of voters who really and truly are part of the governing factor when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago. There's the UNC and the PNM. Opposition at this point in time, UNC and PNM, my friends, is the government. And you know something? A lot of people who is voicing their opinion at this point in time, Prem, the people who are voicing their opinion, they could see, that's one of our problem. Today, a lot of people, we see other people's problem. Right? We see the neighbor problem. We see the business of the road problem. We see everybody else's problem, but we cannot see our own problem. We see that, Stuart Young is not good, and this one is not good, and that one is not good. And when it comes to our own home, we do not recognize who's supposed to be representing who. Because what we are seeing, my friends, we are seeing is dictatorship in the party United National Congress. Just as people are saying the dictatorship is taking place where? The dictatorship is taking place in the PNM. You know something? They had their outreach and their retreat program, that they had a retreat in Tobago. Nothing is wrong. I don't have a problem. If they want to go Tobago, if they want to go Labre, wherever they feel comfortable as a party, they went there. And basically, nobody's going to fool nobody here. That money is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. He's going to use his budgetary allocation for entertainment.
50 million.
Right? He's going to use that and he's going to entertain whoever he wishes to do with that. And that would have been part of maybe his budget for entertainment. A lot of people is concerning and they're querying, that is taxpayers' money. Yes, all the money in the country that the politicians have is taxpayers' money. Where are we getting money from?
Imam,
where are we getting money from?
That 50 million, right, that is allocated for entertainment for the Prime Minister for 1 year, okay, is taxpayers' money. There was a budgetary debate on that in Parliament. Right? What dent, what inroads did the opposition made concerning that 50 million? So shut on the trap.
Yes, so none.
Swallow that.
And the thing about it is whatever the PNM doing right now is simply because we, the opposition, are allowing that to happen. Because here what? There are videos, right? There were videos that was propping up on social media where the stepdaughter of the present acting Prime Minister Stuart Young were involved in certain illicit actions, right? Certain illicit actions, and we are seeing this. It seems as though our country has gone tipsy-turvy, in the sense that when people doing wrong, they are praised, and when people doing good things, they are condemned. That is how our society have evolved to at this point in time. So I want to say something. Let us look towards our own selves today and try to correct our own situation. We looking to correct PNM problem, and we cannot correct the United National Congress problem, who we are part of, whether you like it or not. We are here not to agitate or to bring down anybody. We are here to really and truly identify some of the problems that we are challenged with. If we had a proper opposition, at this point in time, if the opposition leader would call, she would call a shutdown in the country. The 340,000 people who voted for the United National Congress would adopt that. If there's maybe 40 or 50,000 people who have jobs that has to have them present at their job site, nothing is wrong with that. But at this point in time, if the opposition leader would call for a nationwide shutdown, I think that the country would run normal as ever, simply because we are only seen barking, we are not seen biting.
That nationwide shutdown that Central Media Broadcast
we have been calling, we have been advocating.
Right? That should have been implemented, initiated, and done probably 3-4 years ago. But can someone call this station and tell this country why is it the United National Congress, headed by Ms. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, is unwilling, right, or is unable to call for a national shutdown to fix the ills of this country. Why?
We have a SOS at this point in time, right? Save our soul and state of emergency in one. Because I tell you something, I have seen this last week in our program. I saw normal security, and that is the reason why I showed that video here. A normal security company, right? A normal security company, they are doing pullovers and random check on citizens of this country. This is what, is that permissible? Is that permissible during an SOE? Right? People need to know that because they are in tactical wear. Yes, they are wearing tactical and they have arms and ammunition just like the police. Right? They are a security company. Right? They have those things.
Was that information published by the government or the Commissioner of Police or the Minister of Works and Transport that, listen, you know, we have employed this company and given them such and such powers to stop and search vehicles, private vehicles, you know, of our country, and please abide with them. What was that?
I never saw that nowhere. So anybody could put a sign or some tactical something on a vehicle and drive behind you and stop you and maybe causing mayhem to yourself, your families, and so forth. My friends, Trinidad and Tobago, we are in a state where the citizens of this country, if you do not create a voice for yourself, that is the reason why, you know, social media is really and truly the media house. People don't really wait for 7 o'clock news again. People don't wait. They would watch the Ian Allen program. They would watch that because that have a good audience. And they'll see 1 or 2 program again. And that's about it. People not buying any newspaper. People ain't buying no newspaper. People not going to that because they got to realize that is a propaganda machine that is being sold. If you look at Hardfacts, you look at the statistics on Hardfacts. Sometimes we do program, we get 5,000-6,000. Sometimes we get 5, 10, 15 people watching our program. But when you look at the monthly review, you're going to realize 5,000-6,000 people watching, which is good. And as I said before, my friends, Hardfacts is a program that has been started because a lot of things have been happening. Let me just give you an example of this program, Hardfacts. Yesterday I spoke to one individual at the Shogunas Borough Corporation, right? And when I asked them, I said, look, so and so is the case. They had no material. We don't deal with councillors again because when you look at councillors is at a different level.
They operate at a level higher than council, probably mayors or MPs.
Yes, I believe the gravitation of the councillors in the area, the councillors have reached the level of mayors or chairman, and the chairman have reached the position of what? They have been elevated as status quo as MPs, as members of parliament. And the MPs have been downgraded. They have been downgraded to a normal lay citizen. They just go in parliament. They're wasting time because they don't have any privilege. They don't have any say. They don't have anything to talk about. That's the reason why I want to say on this program, hats off to Dinesh Rambali. Those of you who are following Dinesh Rambali and many of his posts, you are looking at the press releases that he's sending out. You're going to realize that it is filled with a lot of nourishment when it comes to information on SOE. That's number one. When it comes to different aspects, when it comes to crime, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to divers, you name it. You look at it. You look at Dinesh Rambali press releases because I tell you something, and he hypered that up because I tell you why. Because he's an MP, a member of parliament, which he is a Cora. He is fully a Cora of debating many issues, but the opportunities has not been given to him in parliament. So he needs to take it outside of parliament. He needs to create another parliament. Correct. And that parliament that he has created, my friends, is those releases. And you look at those, and you know something? I tell you something. I have seen this as a media person now. I have seen this. Sometimes you would write letter to the different media houses. And when you put areas like Felicity, and you put areas like Charlieville, and you put areas like Endeavour, your letters are not going to be published. When you put areas and you change your pen name, you know, so some you know, I don't want to call no name to really and truly discriminate against anybody. But you change your location and you change your pen name and you're going to get your letters published. Don't ever feel that you are going to get your letters published just by putting your name and you're living in Felicity or you're living in Charlieville. That and a blue goat you would not see. So my friends, we're going to take a short break.
Wait, Imam, wait. Before you
I
take a break,
see you taking a call, boss.
A text come here.
Yeah. Oh.
A text come here. I had to shut off the caller. That's the same Bosu text. It says, I say without fear of contradiction, only the 5 MPs are interested in winning the government. Those who are deemed to be dissidents in winning government. Everyone else are only interested in getting on the inside regardless of winning or losing. They don't have the country at heart. Not my assessment. It has become a real perception of the party. Let it go how it has gone. The 5 MPs have carried the unjustified and ridiculous label of dissident by a select few reporters in the media and the UNC leadership. Just because the 5 spoke out, they continue to be called by the 14 MPs and 6 senators as PNM agents. That is where
Right.
the UNC
I'll pick it up, Prem. I know that text. I know that
I
text.
sent it to you,
Yeah.
yes.
And I'll tell you something. You know, we always, in this program, we always talk about Dr. Keith Rowley and the Cosa Nostra. Right? The Cosa Nostra thing that Dr. Keith Rowley would have said that he's going to kill you all politically and so forth. I'll tell you something. We are saying that Dr. Rowley is using that format, right? But that is not true. The one who is doing that is the Honorable Kamal Prasad Bisesa. She is using that because if you go against or you highlight or say anything against,
She will kill you politically.
And I have seen that.
Yes.
Out of those things, I have seen at least 5 good politicians. They are going to be dead, simply because, my friends, you know what? They stand up for democracy. You understand? They stand up for democracy.
A yellow code of Cosa Nostra.
Yes. All right, so let's take a break, my friends. And those of you who are locked on, the number is 3722129. Give us a call and let us know what is going on in your neck of the woods. And don't call us and tell us about Stuart Young. Stuart Young, he has been given the nod by the acting Prime Minister of this country. And basically, you and I can't do nothing about it. All we could do is just rally. But the rate it going Trinidad and Tobago, I am saying this, that if you see that 9/11, we're going to talk about that. That's a very serious thing, you know. 9/11. When you look
fishy about that by Imam.
When you look at the 9/11, right, the 9/11 in America, and we look at the 9/11 in Trinidad and
In
Tobago,
1990.
we're going to talk about that 9/11, that 9/11. Let's take a break.
back, friends, to our program, Hardfacts on Sentinel Media Live Broadcasting. We are here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 12:15 p.m. It is a 1-hour show. It is an unedited show. It is a live program, and it deals with current issues in our country and the region at large. Now, Imam, you could recall, when we were kids, right? And we got our Christmas vacation and our Easter vacation and our August vacation. We used to play cricket in the road. We used to play football in the road. We used to go bird hunting. We used to go fishing and whatnot. Where has all that joy gone? Today, when people and their families and their children are home, the gate is locked, the doors are locked, the burglar proof is locked, and you are like a prisoner in your own home. No, home invasion continues. Listen to what these miscreants did at a home that they invaded. Bridal thing. Listen to this. No. Bridal clothing. A bride's wedding dress and the groom's suit was stolen during a break-in at a home in Barakpur. Just imagine that, Imam. Come back to us. All right? Listen, man. You're going to thief. You have some level of conscience in you. Again, a quantity of US dollars and TT dollars were found at a home. Come up with that, director. 2.3 million TT dollars.
So my brothers and sisters in Islam,
120,000 US dollars. A 49-year-old man of Takarikwa is now assistant police officers of the Aruka CID as how he came into possession of 2,300,000 TT dollars in cash and 120,000 US dollars in cash, which was found at his home. Now you tell me something, Imam. Come back to us, director. How that citizen, that ordinary man, came into possession of 2.3 million TT dollars in his house and 120,000 US dollars when big businessmen in this country even they can't even see that kind of
I'll
money.
tell you something, and we're not justifying nobody, yeah? Because I remember one pastor last year, he had about $4 or $5 million, right? And that would have been from tithes and so forth. Now, we can't just jump the guns and say, well, so and so the case, because the businessman has not been identified.
He is not a businessman.
No, whoever.
Yeah, whoever. But he is assistant police.
Right. So what I'm saying, the individual, I think that that is a kind of dramatic thing, because basically, you see, this SOE thing, a lot of things are going to be popping up now to justify it. Because if you really and truly have something like a state of emergency in a country, the world is looking in. And the world is not looking in for everyday crime and everyday criminal. So that warrants that, right? So people are looking on, because when you see Al Jazeera and the Last Post and all those BBC and CNN and Fox and all those people,
so my brothers and
they
sisters
put that
in
as
Islam,
a small island,
we are now in
as
Rajab.
a small island like Trinidad, right? And they are having an SOE, a state of emergency. It warrants. And I tell you something, in Trinidad and Tobago, for those of you who don't understand the demographics of Trinidad and Tobago, we are in proximity, right? Just about 7 miles from where? From South America, joining South America, heading up straight to Venezuela.
Which is an hour with a speedboat,
Yes.
An hour drive.
Right. So what the point I'm making here is that people might say Trinidad and Tobago is a small island, and basically, really and truly all we have is sunlight, all we have is oxygen, and all we have is some water. That's it, because we don't have no tourism, we don't have no oil again, we don't have no natural, tourism in the sense that, people could go outside there and see the Boko Reef and all those things finished under the governing bodies that's supposed to be lifting the identity of Trinidad and Tobago in the world market internationally. We have not done that.
But we have a pitch lake, but we do not have ownership of it. Just imagine that.
Hey, this is
Imam,
this is
just imagine that.
And hear what? These very sad people, right? These very sad people. The politicians, right? They are con artists.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
The majority of the politicians, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, around the world, they are con artists. You listen to them. You listen to these people. When they go on a platform, they spur milk, honey, you name it, they've spilled that for you. And you could swear by Almighty God that when these people go there, you know what? They're going to make 1,001 changes. And you know something? hear what? When they go inside there and maybe they become opposition, they do not win the election, you know what? They say my hands are tied. You know how many MPs I talk to, and you know what they say? We can't do nothing, you know. You know why? Because the government in power and we can't fix no road. Let me tell you something. Money don't really fix the road. It's how you campaign, how you champion the cause. If the MP of the area, and I was telling you, half of these MPs, or even 75% of the MPs, the present regime MPs, they cannot face their constituents. They cannot face the voters who vote them. Some of these people are asking who is the MP for the area. And we're talking about 10 years in some case and 5 years in other cases. And people still, I remember individual went Vancouver and the lady started whitewash them.
Yes.
And what you doing here? We don't know you, you don't come here. That is the attitude an MP and a councillor. You see, the councillor following the MP. The MP following who? The leader. And that is what is happening, my friends.
I represent 29,000 voters in my constituency, and I do not know that not one of them.
We're talking about the
Prime Minister said that.
The Prime Minister is saying that. So what you expect when you put up an individual as a councillor? Let me tell you something. We talk about that Greenwich Road again. They fix a portion. The residents, we are thankful. Right? We are thankful and grateful. But you know what? You know what? That like somebody have a nice pair of socks and a bus pants. You're going in a wedding, right? And you have a nice suit. And when you bend over, so you have a big bust in your pants, or you have a big stain in your shirt. That is what is happening. They fixed that. Yesterday, I was in connection with a businessman in Shogunas, and we were talking about the politics of the day. That is what we were talking about. Anytime a phone ring, my phone ring especially, they want to find out what is going on. I have the pulse. I have the pulse. People talk to me. People talk to me, and I'm not going to tell you because as your friend, oh, I want a contract from you. I will tell you the real thing at this point in time. At this point in time, the people, the ground floor is calling for changes in the political emblem of our country. Just as how Dr. Keith Rowley went, he going away there. But chances, I don't believe that man. Honestly speaking, I don't believe him.
Once a liar, always a liar.
Because he could come back and say, here what? Because when we look at two votes, we talk about two votes. One, 911, right? We talk about 9. Pull that up from your hand.
We send peace and salutations upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barik wa sallam.
Now the question, this is
Assalamu
what they are
alaikum wa
saying.
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, blessings and mercy of Allah be upon you all. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Glory be to Allah. We have no knowledge except what Allah taught us. He is indeed the most knowledgeable.
With a final vote count of
اللهم
11.
علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا
On the
علما.
right hand side of your
Ya Allah,
screen,
teach us the beneficial knowledge, benefit us from what we learn,
911, right?
and increase us in
Now,
knowledge.
that's
Allahumma
a big
ameen.
cry out there. But the point that
Once
we
again,
are
welcome you to
making
the daily
here,
reminder. I ask
right?
Allah
If,
subhanahu wa ta'ala
the
to inspire
general
us the
election,
guidance.
Dr.
Allahumma
Rowley
alhimna
cannot
marashid
choose a
umurina
prime
wa qina
minister. He could
shurura
choose somebody
anfusina.
at this
May Allah
point in
inspire
time
us the
to
guidance and protect
represent
us.
him. If
Protect
he's
us from
taken
the
maybe a
evil of our
sabbatical,
souls.
maybe
Allahumma
he's
ameen.
sick,
So
a leave of
important to
ill, or a
have
leave of
a
absence
daily
for
reminder,
some
a regular
reason
reminder.
that is
We listen
valid,
to
that
the
is
da'wah, we
valid,
listen to the
right?
verses of
That is
Allah,
what
to
is
the
going to
hadith
happen.
of
But when
Rasulullah.
they would come back, when they would come back to the central executive, as the United National Congress would have a central executive, that decision could overturn. It could be more for Stuart Young, or it could be more for Penelope.
Yes, correct.
And that is what we are saying. But now we look at this. When we look at this, is there any dissident there? Is there anybody who's going to call anybody dissident?
No, there is no dissidence there.
But in the United National Congress, United National Congress, 5 individuals went against, right? They fought at democracy. And you know something? I would not show any respect. I would not show any respect until the political leader at this point in time call these 5 MPs and hear what, have a civil discussion with them and let them know, well, hear what, hey, you all did so and so. Why it is, and the question again, why it is that they are separated so much? How do you want to win an election? How do you want to win an election? When you look at the components of the votes, when you look at Rushton Paré team and you look at the other team, I think it was Dr. Munilal team, right? You look at the both teams, you're going to realize that they got percentage of votes, and it clearly tells you It clearly tells you that some sort of movements have to take place. And when you shove these people away, what you are doing, you are shoving the very said supporters. You are shoving these very said supporters away from you. And that clearly indicates it making good room now for the PNM to just slide through and take government again and put you all in opposition where you all, it seems as though you all are comfortable in opposition.
Now, Imam, I said this before and I'm going to say it again today. The national executive elections of the United National Congress is a democratic one.
Yes.
And it is due when it is due.
Yes.
All right? Madam Political Leader Kamla Prasad Bisesa and your cohorts, you owe this country an explanation, most of the UNC voters. What wrong did Dinesh Rambali, Roshan Pare, Anita Hayes, Rodney Charles, and Dr. Rai Ragbir do? What protocol did they break? What part of the UNC constitution did they vandalize that they are now being treated as dissidents? You know what is the meaning of the word dissidents, madam? You need to take a course in conflict resolution.
Right.
And anger management also.
And the important thing that we want to discuss here in our program, again, my friends, we want to go in government. We want to go in government. I want to be a part of a team, a winning team. Right? And it is not the PNM, it is the United National Congress. I've been open here. Because we have seen the track record of the PNM for the past 10 years. Right? If the first year was failure, and maybe because of COVID and so forth, the second year could have been lifted, and whatever anomalies that they had, they could look through their past and say, look, this is what we did. You telling me something, you are in charge of the national security of our country. And you cannot govern, you cannot bring people from outside. So many billions and billions of dollars missing in this country. Right? And you telling me as a chief, as the head honcho, as the man in charge of the national security of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, you telling me you could not invest in some program or some plan to bring or initiate maybe Scotland Yard or somebody from the foreign lands who have already tapped their resources and build.
Listen, when the Susu money, you remember the DSS, right? Bajan policemen came here and Scotland Yard policemen came here and they were precepted and that sort of thing and given the right way by the government to investigate. Here we see 3.6 billion gone. Would that money be used, for campaigning? We don't know. And this is what the opposition is supposed to be looking at. Now, Imam, you just mentioned something. The People's National Movement is going guns towards the general election and winning the general election.
And campaign is on.
And campaign is on.
And let me just give you an example, Prim. So hold that for 1 second, hold that thought for 1 second. Now I'll tell you something. When you look at, you Trinidad and Tobago, don't be docile. Let me tell you something. When you look at the grants coming in, when you look at the
we have that day.
Yes, when you look at all those grants and all these things coming in, that is coming in for a reason.
At this time.
At this time, yes. It is a reason. That is to seduce voters, to get voters in line so that when the election is called, maybe in 2-3 months' time or 5 months' time, when the election is due, I think it's August. When the election is due, my friends, again, you all would understand this, that the people have already been grooving.
And they are hitting the roads.
Yes, they have been grooved in.
Now listen, as I said, the People's National Movement is going guns, preparing the track, preparing the field for that grand day when the general election date would be announced. All right? What about the United National Congress? We see all about in different constituencies, the PNM, the People's National Movement, they are advertising their candidates and their candidates are hitting the ground and they are working and they are being well received by constituents in their area. What about the United National Congress? What are you all waiting for? What happened to these 5 seats? Right? Shogunas West, Anita Hayes, Russian Pari and the others. When are you going to announce the candidates for these seats? What is the kickback? You understand?
Boy, I tell you something. This political scenario in Trinidad and Tobago is something that anybody could read who have intelligence. United National Congress have 18 seats, Naparima make it 19, Maruga Tabellan make it 19, right? We look at the PNM have 18 and 220. They have 17 and 2 right 19. So all PNM have to work on is just 2 seats. And how much to win the election, Prim? Right? And the question begs to be asked here, the question, whether you given Dinesh Rambali, whether again Rashtan Pare, whether you given anybody,
announce the damn candidates.
Yes, anybody you give him. Because tell us something. If you look at these constituencies, if 40% say, well, here what, we're not cooperating with you, camera, we're not cooperating with you and the person you select,
You will still win.
you're going to still win.
Because there is no opposition votes in UNC
Look at it.
strongholds.
Look at the statistics of all the voting pattern. You're going to realize this 18 seat is United National Congress seat simply because of the tribalistic voting pattern. PNM have
Correct,
17 or 18. The very sad way. The tribalistic, and who vexed with me lost. I don't really care.
So Imam, according to the tribalistic voting pattern in this country, you understand? Then the results of the forthcoming general election could very well be the same.
Unless the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the United National Congress do something, invent some strategy, or do something that could really and truly, because I tell you something, when you look at the marginal seat, don't think about La Hoqueta Talparo at all. Don't ever think about that, because I was there. I work with Jolene John, and I see the movement of that woman. That lady went across there, and she did her work. And don't come back and tell me here what, this time around, this time around, it's going to be a bigger gap. Because we have men like Foster Cummins, who is one of the the choice candidate, right? Whether they have baggage or no baggage, that's not my business. We are talking about the
winning an election.
We're talking about, you know what? Because tell us something. In this country, we've seen Stuart Young, right? Stuart Young. If you talk about morality and you talk about spirituality, politics have a morality of its own. Because here it is, you have been seeing this, the prime minister of this country at this point in time. And I'm saying this, it doesn't bother me, whether that or that. The point is here, you are seeing photos with him, you are seeing MPs, photos with gang leaders, you are seeing this, that, the next. And my friends, again, if an election is called, these very said people is going to win the election. So it clearly governs something. It says that here what, if you do all the right things in the world, chances are you're going to lose. And if you do all the wrong things in the world, chances are you're going to win. That is the scenario of politics in Trinidad and Tobago. People have to understand these things. And you know what? As a political leader of any party, whether it be NTA, because right now we are hearing men like Gary Griffith, we are hearing men like Philip Alexander. When you hear these people venom and you hear the poison of these people coming out of the mouth of these people, right? All they are doing is, you know what? Separating, and you are, causing disenchantment in the scenario of the opposition politics. Why can't they, these very sad people, say, hey, what? Let us go and join the PNM. No. PNM don't want them. PNM could go alone because PNM has a machinery in place.
That's it.
They have a machinery in place.
Marshall breaks it a little bit. In 2010, the United National Congress, calling themselves the People's Partnership, went into government with 29 seats. In 2015, Madam Kamla Prasad Bisesa, you need to tell the United National Congress, how did you lose the election and why?
I could answer that for Kamla.
A post-mortem, Ms. Prasad Bisesa, on your two losses, main election, general election losses, was never done and was never published to the citizens of this country. And you going up again? You think you're going to win again, madam? You need to step aside, lady.
Listen carefully. I could answer the first part of the question.
Go ahead.
Because I'll tell you something. When you look at the People's Partnership, right, there was individuals of different creed, different color, different race, different identity, different ethnicity, and different professional, and all these things, and different components of party, they were united as one. When you look at this present regime, you are seeing there are people fighting, even the smaller ones, the smaller parties, they are fighting. And if they continue fighting like this, opposition is doomed for us.
With less seats.
Right? And chances are we're going to lose out of the 19 seats. We are going to lose seats. And that is simply because nobody is willing to hold the bull by the horn and come out in the open and say what they have to say. Because when you look at the identity of many of these people, they have baggage, they have suitcase, they have Guyanese suitcase too. They have a lot of suitcases. Let's take a break, Director. And we're going to come back. Those of you who are linking with us, 372-2129, give us a call.
back our viewers to our program Hardfacts, midweek edition of Hardfacts on Sentinel Media Live Broadcasting. With me, my friends, is our Reverend Imam Rashid Karim in studio. He is our main host. I am the co-host, as you all know. And, you know, my friends, being a businessman, being an imam, you know, being the head of the Fidail Islamic Funeral Trust, and many, many other organizations he holds top positions in. I do not know how our imam really find time and the energy, may I say, to do all of these things within a 24-hour period. So, if you come down to Island Express Hardware, that is our imam's hardware, you can get building material from foundation to finish, Z-purlin, galvanized, screws, lumber, cement, steel, plywood sheets, ply sheets, power tools, hand tools, water tanks, plumbing fixtures, electrical material, and much more at Island Express Hardware, where shopping is really an experience. So you come down here, you ask to speak to the imam, and you can negotiate your prices and, you know, get a good deal, so to speak. Now, my friends, 4 divers, Imam, you recall that?
Yes.
4 divers died, and up to this day, millions of dollars were spent for a, what you call that thing? That big court business thing they had?
That is the investigation.
Investigation, right? Yeah. I can't get the word right now. And then another rig worker went missing. I would like to ask Trinidad and Tobago, who was the Minister of Energy at that time when those 4 divers went down and came up dead, so to speak? All right? Presently, we have a rig worker who is still missing, and I am sure that the search has been called off. All these are, you know, unsettled issues in our country, and people, you know, the family members have not received not a cent as yet. All right? We have, you know, a prime minister. He says whether the SRC, the Salary Review Commission, recommendation is fair or not, you know, words to that effect, I don't care, I'm accepting it. 47% raise their pay. But our public servants and, you know, security board employees, they are and police and our doctors and nurses and teachers and whatnot, they have to settle for a mere 4%. Well done, Dr. Keith Rowley. Beautiful. Now, my friend, coming to the economy now. People are going to the market. You know, market hours where you get your fresh produce from between 6 in the morning to 10, 11 in 1 in the day, and they are going 3, 4 in the evening when the vendors are packing up. You know why? To buy refused thing. Refused thing in the sense that what people didn't buy, who have the money, they are going to buy that. Our country has nosedived. Are we facing a recession in this country? Are we barking at the doors of the IMF? There is a video. Director, bring up that video with that mall. This is a reflection of the state of our economy. Imam, you go ahead.
Yes, so Trinidad and Tobago, we have been backing, we have been letting you all know that the economy in our country...
What's the date?
Really
5th of January.
The economy in this country has really and truly... Who's going to buy that mall, boy? Who's going to get that money to buy that mall? Come back to us, Director. Yeah. Now, we are seeing this, and we mentioned this to you all on our program, Hard Facts, because we normally, when we go, we don't do window shopping. We look at the things that is affecting our country. We look at the things that, you know, destroying the fabric of our society. And the number one thing is crime. That is something that the government of the day, they have spent the largest amount of monies. And we're not seeing any results, number one. Right? Because I tell you something, when they had no cars, the crime rate was down. Now they have cars, they have, you name it, cameras, they have, you name it, they have everything. And the crime has escalated beyond the norm. Now, we have been saying this, when we walk through the malls, how many stores are closing? And that is simply because the sales of the day, the economy of the country at this point in time does not propel. And I have made this proclamation on our program. Anybody who is owing or to renting, you understand, who is renting in our country, Prim, they have, once you're renting in this country, chances are you are not going to make your rent. Chances are you're not going to make your rent because the economy is so bad, right? I tell you something, I'll give you a practical example. A practical example of it. Normally businessmen, especially hardware owners, they have a quota to carry when they take certain programs like, you know, Costarama and this, that, the next, right? You have to sell 100 pallet a block. You know something? People call me and offer me block at under factory price simply because they want to take the quantity out. They want to meet their quota so they won't lose. That is how this economy have reached, my friends. Right? And you know, when we talk here, people say, hey, with them fellas, them is not economists. We have been talking about, you know, a fella named Bob Lindquist. Right? These men has to come in back in the picture and try to identify and do forensic auditing where those monies went, because that is going to be swept under the carpet. And just as how 644 murders, and let me explain that for you, Prem. We have 644 murders that is identifiable as homicide. But there are many bodies right now in the Port of Spain morgue. There are over 50 or 40 bodies here, as certain individuals were saying, unclaimed bodies. And that started from the January to December. And some could have been identified as homicide. But again, nobody really and truly put pressure or to identify, to bring in some forensic auditors or forensic people to do the forensic to identify whether it was natural causes or whether it was suicide or whether it was, you know, strangulation or anything like that. So all those cases are pending. But that is not going to be, that is going to be swept under the carpet.
You know something, Imam? While you were talking there, 644 murders, divide 645 by 12, it is approximately 54 murders a month. A little country like Trinidad, we have fallen in the scale, the world scale of murders per capita. No, my friends, to those who are satisfied with the politics of the day, that is we government in power, that is we kind of people, that is we dark-skinned people, that is we texture we hair people. Listen to me. You have no work because there is no employment since COVID. No employment was created. You have no job. You have no savings in the bank. You're owing your landlord money. You're owing for the car that you drive in. Your children and grandchildren in jail. You have no food in your house. And you happy, we read and we ready? You settling for that? It's time we get away from that slave master mentality and look at policies and look at how we are going to, we want to elevate ourselves and that of our children.
We're talking about approximately $4 billion gone missing. When you add up all the small amount, the 80 and the 260 and what have you not. We're talking about close to $4 billion. You know what is $4 billion?
About a million. If that is, in case you don't know, 1 billion is $1,000 million.
And if that $4 billion is returned back and pumped into the economy, for example, doing programs of employment, number one. Number two, pumping $1 billion in the health.
And the crime rate will drop because people will have jobs.
And, you know, I can't understand that, you know. I really try to be go, tell me how people who went to university, right, they could turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to the sufferation of the poor people in our country, especially the elderlies. You know how the elderlies have been
Imam,
treated in our country?
9 years, they live on $3,500 a month at a 60% inflation rate. So in other words, they have only 40% buying power with their money. Now, Imam, I see this thing in blue here. Your blood pressure going up there. Listen, an MP who used obscene language in the parliament, the most august and pristine house in this country, where laws are made and laws are amended, right? An MP who used derogatory remarks against the leader of the opposition and all the women of this country, that individual is being promoted to Prime Minister of this country. What happens to the women of this country, the religious bodies, the women's arm of the United National Congress, the women's arm of the People's National Movement? Where are your voices? I would not say what that individual said. I would not say it in this program. You see, this studio here is a very, very sacred place.
I tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago, we kind of rounding off our program here today, right? Prem identify as a certain aspect of our country, Trinidad and Tobago. I want to identify the other aspect of Trinidad and Tobago. There is people in our country, right, who we are governed by the scriptures, we are governed by the religious entities and the books of our country and our code of ethics when we look at our religion, right? We look at the legislation of our country, the constitution of our country, as you know what, as a religious scripture. Because if they tell you you can't do this and you breach that, that is against the law.
Imam, you're right, because the law of the land supersedes all religious and scriptural laws.
That's exactly what I'm coming
to.
And
that man cursed in the parliament, Imam, boy.
And think about it, right? You know, when the 348,000 people voted for the United National Congress, we expected more from them. Just as how, now whatever the PNM is doing as government of the day, you could safely say that we didn't vote for them. We didn't vote for that. But what we did vote for is we vote for the United National Congress. And we would have expected the United National Congress, if they could not facilitate our request in providing safety. We're not talking about money here. We're talking about safety. We're talking about education. And we're talking about the other thing is the infrastructure of our country. That was not be able to really and truly champion properly as the watchdog of our nation. I think that they should have resigned. They should have said, well, look here what, my people who voted for me, I surrendered, I raised my hands, and I surrendered, because when we go in parliament, we are like sitting ducks. We cannot even raise our heads because the piranhas in parliament from the PNM side, they are ready to bite our heads out, and we are not capable of that. We cannot deal with that. So here what, we should resign, and you all should get another opposition.
Yeah. Because listen, Imam,
I cannot take an next 5 years.
Very rare to agree with you, but I want to agree with this.
I cannot take an next 5 years of opposition.
3.6 billion gone. Wrong it off to $4 billion. And the shadow minister of finance, not one word from you, mister. After all this happening, you understand? As the Imam said, you people should, throw in the towel, walk out of the parliament.
Walk out of the parliament. Yeah. I hear what, every day, I can't understand this, right? We understand this. We are lay people. We are not the politician like you all. You all are the so-called seasoned politician. Sometimes if you put Prem and you put myself in parliament, we could debate better than the MPs that you have there. I am telling you that, and I'm not blowing my own horn. Because I tell you something, common sense supersedes education. Some of these people, they are educated. Let me give you an example. We send a man who is a professor, go and buy 290 degrees elbow, and he brings 445. That is the level of education that these people have. And now the point I'm making here is this. You call in meeting. If you have 500 people or 1,000 people in any forum, whether it be Monday night forum, whether it be platform meeting, whether it be constituency meeting, you have 1,000. That is the very 1,000 people coming all the time.
Go out. Why
we cannot go outside there?
That's it. Go and meet your people, street to street, house to house. Find time and meet your people. Imam, the United National Congress is not in touch with the voters.
They're in touch with some of the base, because they would have expected, something? I tell you, I've been real here. This is hard facts, real talk. Let me tell you something. We will get 18 seats, chances are we can get 17. Right? But the point is that you all, opposition, we need to motivate, we need to agitate, we need to aggravate the situation and come outside there. Where is the marginal seat? Which marginal seat is going to turn and come United National Congress?
We have asked that many times on this program.
You tell me which margin. I know for a fact that La Hoqueta Talparo is a base seat that we thought we would have win. Right? We had a good candidate, Jolene John. We had a very good candidate. She walked like a mad woman there. Monies were spent elevating, lifting the community and so forth. And come election day, they went back and they vote PNM.
Bearing that in mind, Imam, bearing that in mind what you just said, if the United National Congress, and this is for you, Mr. Sasi Pasar, if you feel that the United National Congress and you is going to win this election on the ills
of failure of the
PNM, you are dreaming.
Think twice.
Wake up to reality from your political slumber. You're going to lose again.
Exactly what we are saying. What I see that talk we're talking about lose again, and I can't take that again.
None of us could take that. That is why we built in here.
Because you see the reason why I say that, I cannot see any hope in the PNM. To really and truly, they had 10 years, and if they lifted the barrier, maybe 5% of the atrocities and the failures that they have done, if they remain, I tell you something, chances that the homicide rate could reach 1,000 if they remain in power. And I tell you something, just like how a certain CARICOM country where there was mass migration, that very sad thing is going to happen again. Mass migration is going to take place, and maybe people will not be going to America because America is deporting right now. They might find alternative routes. They might go Switzerland, and they might go other places.
If you look at Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is, he has already stated that he's going to resign because of mismanagement of the country, the economy, the people, and that sort of thing.
Because of the voice of the people.
Public pressure.
Why it is, let me tell you something. Why it is that we cannot, right, as the political entities in our country, come together, right, and iron out our differences. You had five important MPs. These are the 5. Shogunas West.
Excellent debaters in the parliament.
Is the flagship of the United National Congress.
First seat to be declared winner, Shogunas West.
Yes, the flagship. And why you ask this question, Brahim? Why it is that every MP for Shogunas West had a falling out with the different relevant political leaders? Why?
Yeah,
Why? Is there some jinx in the Shogunas West? Is there a blight or some kind of obia taking place in the Shogunas West area that every MP go there? Or is it the Shogunas West people is the only free thinkers it have in Trinidad and Tobago? Either or. Which one? Tell me. My point before we close our program here today is that we have 19 seats at this point in time. Chances are Moruga Tableland will be moving. Right? Chances are Moruga Tableland will be moving, because if you push in the same head, the same individuals who went there and work, and you never communicated with them, right? You had a team working there with you, and not one iota of communication took place with these very said people. Do you think you're going to get those voters to come back, right? People went in there, Prim. There were individuals who went in Moruga Tableland, and virtually, you know what? How you just minor mark?
In playway?
Yeah, in playway, you're voting 8 and putting 8, 10 or 36 or whatever.
Increasing the money every time you play it.
You minor mark because every time you think...
You hope to win.
You hope to win. Right. There were people who were there in Moruga Tableland who were doing it on their own merits. They never get any congratulations. They would never get any tap on their back.
They
never get any
their own money too.
Yes. They never get any funding. Right? And they went out there because of being patriots of our country. And you know something? Not a single thank you. Not even a call in 5 years.
There's a word for that. Made famous by the late Prime Minister Basdev Pandey. Mahani Makaram.
Yeah.
Those people are Mahani Makaram.
Right?
So I think we have covered it.
You know, we have closed that. I just want to close out with another thing again. Right? Before we think, and I want to just tickle the minds of the citizens of this country. Let us be honest. Let us be honest, people. Trinidad and Tobago, let us be honest. The PNM, they have not performed, whether you like it or not. True or false? You tell me. That is the truth. They have not performed. And you look at the amount of millions and billions and trillions of dollars that was spent in 10 years, what have they to prove for that? What have they done to show for the amount of monies that they spent in their 10 years? When you look, no, we're going back again, we're going to dissect this.
You know something? If not for the Auditor General, that 3.6 billion, that 74 million from TT Post, and that 850 million from TSCD would have never been mentioned in this country.
And the thing about it, Prem, that, you know, our election is going to be called, just like how 644 murders, we start afresh. I think today is 4 or 5.
About 5.
Right, we have a peak period coming up, like Carnival coming up there. Right, and I don't think they're going to run you see, I tell you something, you had to dissect the Trinidad and Tobago. You understand? If it's Eid and Diwali time and all that kind of thing, you will get SOE right through to the end.
Carnival coming up. Let us see what's going to happen to SOE.
Right, and you know something? They would like their voters, in other words,
to free up and
to really enjoy and
vote
party.
For them.
So the people who call in and asking and texting, bring up the topic that when the SOE will finish, I could tell you that as a citizen of this country, Trinidad and Tobago, the SOE just now, you know, as the carnival period start to ripen and parties and tents would like to do the thing, you're going to realize that they're going to lift that SOE and give you a kind of cock and bull story, that. And you know something? Bam, bam, bam. 2 months after, SOE in your back again. So Trinidad and Tobago, the question as we close our program here, we're not attacking no United National Congress. Don't feel that we are attacking United National Congress. Because I tell you something, in the other side there, the PNM, they have done enough. They have done enough and they have demonstrated their total failure when it comes to the citizenry of this country in alleviating the problems and the hardship. They have done enough. Right? But I tell you something, when you look at the programs going to be instilled from January, February, March, April,
We have a
May,
book grant
June.
coming up.
Yeah,
There's a book grant coming up.
Book grant. And
Roof grant.
Roof grant.
Yeah.
And
Electrical grant.
And all these grants, all these grants going to be coming in. Remember they put something in the budget, I think it was $80 million to plant coconut tree. All you remember Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes.
Trinidad and Tobago, do you all remember? $80 million for coconut tree. Where the coconut tree is. Huh? And I tell you something, on this program, we have said this over and over. All those budget debates is a waste of time. It's a farce. It's just a waste of time because not a single thing in 10 years
that you recommended as opposition MPs was ever implemented.
Not
Correct.
a single thing. So we tell us something. When you have an opposition like Trinidad and Tobago opposition, the PNM really and truly smiling with their face like Joker, wide open, and they eating bread, honey, jam, lamb, everything. That's why the Guyanese saying, mouth does open where soup does fall. And that is happening in Trinidad and Tobago at this present time. So my friends, those of you who are locked on, those of you who have been watching our program, we are not here to attack Kamla. Don't get tired. We're not here to attack the United National Congress. But if you, a blind man, could see what we're seeing, boy, Trinidad and Tobago, a blind man could see what we're seeing, we're going to win the 18 seat. Chances are we're going to lose 1 seat. Any political priest, any political...
It happened in 2015. It happened in 2020. We don't want it to happen again. That's why we are here.
And the thing about it, we asking the question, right? To win the election, you need to have 23 or 22 seats. Remember Tobago, don't study Tobago. Tobago is a push for the PNM.
And a no entry for you.
And I tell you something, when Keith Rowley go across there, right, and he started mining goat and he started to give goat milk and make penus and all kind of thing there for the Tobagonians, you think they're going to vote any UNC? Ashford Jack, lucky he was a man planting pumpkin and whatever. But I tell you something, you as a normal citizen in this country, sit down, take your coffee, right, and sit down. Let me start to dissect. We worrying about Stuart Young. We worrying about Stuart Young. Stuart Young is not my worries, right? People saying that, you know, the Syrian and the Chinese and this and that and the African.
But Imam, he was elected by 11 members.
Exactly.
And you know something? Prime Minister to be Stuart Young. I want you to start recusing yourself even more now.
Understand? So
even more.
All these things happening.
In cabinet.
Right? All these things happening in front of our eyes, but we're not seeing. I was telling you, the neighbor knows what's your problem. The community knows what's your problem. The country knows what's your problem. And you, who residing in your own house, you don't know what's your problem. Dr. Keith Rowley cared one dam in 10 years. I live in Central here. He never come one day in Felicity. Dr. Keith Rowley never passed with a vehicle in Felicity. With the exception of maybe going to Cascadu and whatever and thing. I don't know. But the point I'm making here, my friends, is that you and I have to look at the direction. And I think that we have to start motivating ourselves and start bringing out our views as much as possible, because you know what's going to happen? Kobo is going to eat our supper. Kobo is going to eat our supper because, again, we're going to go back in opposition. Right?
Imam, that is a bitter pill to swallow, you know.
Who vexed loss? And I tell you, because what is it that the United National Congress is doing differently at this point in time? Which candidate they're bringing out that could go in the marginal seat? Which candidate that they have investigated? They will just go and pick up anybody from the share. Just fill the blank place. Fill that. Yeah? And when you go down there, you lost in. So that means basically you are losing. You are losing the battle without fight.
You are preparing yourself to go back into opposition. Yes.
All right, we're looking at the marginal seats. We're going to talk about that Saturday. The 5 marginal seats, the 6 marginal seats that we have right now. Right? Which candidate that you see as an individual
could pull home that seat?
They won't do that. You know something? All these fellas and these coward politicians we have in the PNM and the United National Congress, they won't go in a marginal seat and Rowley won't come and fight Chaguanas West, you know.
Himself.
They won't come.
No.
You know, they're smart. They know exactly where to go. Right? Monkey does know what tree to climb. You understand? Nobody will do that. But you know what they will do? They will talk and brain every meeting. If you have 1,000 people coming at one of those Monday night meetings and you look at the crowd of it and the components of it, you're going to realize, Trinidad and Tobago, let me be real, it is the MPs and their staff. It is the councillors and their staff. It is the office staff. These are the 1,000 people coming, or the 500 people, or the 300 people coming and filling up that small hall.
In every Monday meeting.
These are the very, and you living on false hope. This is what we're telling you. Whether you come outside here and you walk in the marginal seats, go in the 5-6 marginal seats, right? And get the people to be mobilized. Let the people have the meeting there. Let the people know the condition that they're living in. Let them know the condition that they are living in. The 18th constituency, we already know the barbaric condition we are living in. You don't have to come in Felicity. You don't have to go in Monroe Road. You have to go in Charlieville, Endeavour. We have to go in the corridors, different areas. And if you are scared to go, then hire the police. Use the 10% of the MP salaries and the 10% of the councillors' stipends that is put towards the party for political purposes and for the running of the party. Hire police, hire security, and let's go across there. And let's go and talk to the people and let them know, well, here what, another 5 years of PNM is not what this country need. It's not me, you know. It's what the country need. What they can do, what the PNM can do that they didn't do in 10 years. And what the United National Congress could do now to win the election that they didn't do last year and the last 5 years. Last 5 years.
Absolutely nothing.
Same thing. So anybody, any little primary school child, will know for a fact that here what, hey, and then it have fight with NTA, it have fight with PEP, we have fight with them, we have fight with these, and these are the rascals, and these are the people who really and truly, they want to fight election, and you look at the tone of their voice. And you know the one, you know, when we look at, you know, a man tell me, well, before I close, I don't like to stop talking, you know. They say Penelope Beckles, she's an, you know, she too calm, she too peaceful, she too diplomatic. We don't want she wouldn't be able to do.
Where they want a hooligan?
No, they want a wajang.
A wajang, like what they
Yeah,
had?
they want wajang. Now we are saying this, the United National Congress, yes, we had 5-10 years of failures. All you have to do is get somebody who could fight these people now. You either fight fire with fire or fire with water. Think about it. So my dear friends, those of you who are locked on, we want to thank you all very much. And those of you who can share this video, please share this video and let people know that they have a voice. And if they would like to come on this program, Hardfacts, feel free. You don't have to pay any money. But when you come here, you have to respect the rules and regulations and the people, the rights of citizens of this country. We talk, yes, but we don't disgrace or we don't belittle or we don't bring down anybody's character. You win in politics, yes. You are the Prime Minister, you are responsible. So we're going to tell you that you fail. You have failed, Dr. Keith Rowley and Kamla Prasad Bisesa. At this point in time, you are failing. Thank you, and a blessed day, Trinidad and Tobago.